Hello, it's Wednesday, the 16th of November, and welcome to your 5-minute briefs from Seoul. I'm your host, Heejin Koo. In our first installment of this month, we take a look at how the US, South Korea, and Japan are vowing to enhance coordination in the face of North Korea's mounting aggression, and South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol's warning against global protectionism, as well as the central bank's balancing act to tame inflation and stave off liquidity concerns. We'll also give you details of an expected rise in prices for dairy products and pork, and why South Korean shipbuilders, chip makers, and auto giants are scrambling to find skilled workers from overseas. We'll also take a look at advances in biosensor technology that may allow us to bid farewell to painful pinpricks to test blood sugar levels. Let's begin our 5-minute roundup. Leaders of South Korea, the US, and Japan strongly condemned North Korea's recent escalating aggression, vowed to coordinate sanctions, and agreed to resume their information sharing scheme to enhance their efforts. US President Joe Biden, South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol, and Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida released a joint statement after their trilateral summit on the sidelines of ASEAN meetings in Phnom Penh on Sunday. Biden also agreed to strengthen extended deterrence to Seoul and Tokyo, adding that Washington's commitment to defend its allies is ironclad and backed by the full range of capabilities, including nuclear. Still, they emphasized their offer of dialogue remains open. The leaders also pledged to share real-time information on missile warning data to improve their combined ability to detect and assess the threat posed by North Korea's missiles, officially signaling that their security cooperation known as the General Security of Military Information Agreement, or GSOMIA, is back on track after it was placed on ice in 2019. Moreover, Biden told Chinese President Xi Jinping during a separate meeting held on the sidelines of a Group of 20 summit in Bali, Indonesia on Monday that the US will have to take action to protect the US and its allies if North Korea escalates tensions further. South Korea's Yoon also met Xi on Tuesday and called for Beijing to play a more active and constructive role in dealing with North Korea. Meanwhile, Yoon, while speaking at a G20 summit session in Bali on Tuesday, also urged global leaders to refrain from excessive protectionism in the food and energy sectors. Turning now to the economy, South Korea's central bank is grappling with liquidity concerns in the financial market and heightened inflationary pressure ahead of its monetary policy meeting at the end of this month. Analysts are widely expecting the Bank of Korea's Monetary Board to raise the key rate by 0.5 percentage point in November, amid lingering woes over inflation and a gap with the Federal Reserve after the US counterpart raised rates for the fourth time last month to a range of 3.75% to 4%, the highest in 10 years. On the other hand, Korean firms are facing a cash crunch amid higher borrowing costs, prompting them to readjust investment plans for the rest of the year and beyond, especially after a loan default by a state-backed developer last month froze the local bond market. Lee Bo-kyun, head of the Financial Supervisory Service, dismissed concerns that market jitters are precursor to another financial crisis, repeating the disasters of 1997 and 2008. Still, Financial Minister Chu Kyung-ho has repeatedly warned the nation's economy will face turmoil next year due to global uncertainties. And reflecting such concerns, state-run think tank Korea Development Institute last week forecast a 1.8% economic growth for next year, the slowest since a 0.7% contraction in 2020. The South Korean government also rolled out a $7 billion package to ease lending rules for first-time home buyers, aiming to thaw stalled trading in the once vigorous property market. And reflecting such inflationary pressure, prices of food, including pork and dairy products, will likely jump in the coming weeks as producers and manufacturers repeated warnings of an imminent hike due to rise in base costs and a steady climb in African swine fever outbreaks in the country. According to the Agricultural Ministry earlier this month, milk, butter and bakery goods will likely see a markup in price tags after the Korea Dairy Committee announced they will raise the base price of raw milk by 49 won to 999 won per litre through the year's end. This will in turn elevate prices of baked goods, ice cream and even coffee. A senior ministry official said the government is urging the industry to refrain from an excessive hike, as it is a key marker for the nation's inflation. Still, the price gain may accelerate next year, as insiders have flagged a possible change in the pricing system for milk and other dairy products. Prices of pork are also on the rise as South Korean authorities began slaughtering some 5,500 hogs after reporting another case of African swine fever at a farm in Chuncheon, Gangwon Province. This is the fourth confirmation after 3 outbreaks in August and September in the same province. South Korea's key industries, including shipbuilding, semiconductors and automobiles, are trying to entice workers from overseas as they increasingly face a shortage of workers. Hyundai Heavy Industries, the nation's largest shipbuilder, will bring in some 500 welders and other workers from overseas to make up for a severe shortage of skilled labor after landing $8.82 billion in orders for vessels. This is a welcome turn of events after a decade-long slump in the industry. Still, many skilled technicians abandoned their craft as orders petered out during this sluggish period, which has prompted companies to beef up its pool with international workforce. Automakers, chip fabs and biohealth firms have also reported similar labor shortages amid a surge in global demand for electric cars, semiconductors and medicinal products. South Korea's Labour Ministry as well as Customs and Immigration Services jointly announced that the government will partially lift visa restrictions to allow more migrant welders and painters to work at domestic firms and help offset shortages. Turning to advances in the biomedical sector, South Korean researchers announced they were able to vastly improve sensors for blood sugar tests that do not force users to prick their fingers or see blood. A research team at the Department of Electrical Engineering at Ulsan National Institute of Science and Technology successfully tested a subcutaneously implantable electromagnetic-based device about 1/5 the diameter for a stem of a cotton swab. The team said the sensor can be embedded under the skin to constantly monitor minute changes in blood glucose levels. They said it will help better understand physiological responses towards nutrition intake, physical activities in everyday life and glucose control without having to resort to the more traditional and painful needle-type systems. The engineering team, together with its partner SB Solutions, a firm that specializes in biosensors, published its findings in Nature magazine's scientific reports. That wraps it up for this edition of 5-Minute Briefs from Seoul. This has been Hee Jin Koo for KBSI, wishing you a great week.